34.98 seconds on Rhein-Main. Nice. Hello folks, welcome to Netcruzer RC VRC video, and I've got a new fancy radio. We've got the Noble NB4, and the super cool thing about this radio is that you don't have to have the VRC adapter. So all my other radios that I've tested, I had to have a receiver and a USB adapter. This one, the battery base has a USB plug, so you can just plug it into USB micro, and it'll just show up as a controller directly wired into the computer, where it's super low latency, should be excellent, probably slightly better performance than I've ever had in anything before. And one bonus feature is that this has multiple channels, so that on that other radio I can only do two things at once. I can only steer and brake, and when I had the Marshall I would have to hit spacebar. On this one there's extra buttons I can program, so I can have a button for marshalling on the grip, and that'll just allow me to be a little split second faster on the marshalling. Let's jump in and do a qualification round in VRC Pro. I would expect that I have a video out about this radio already, but just in case I don't, a nice super feature about this radio is that it's ambidextrous, so you can swing the wheel over to the other side. So if you are a left-hand steer, you can do that on this radio. You can't do that on any other radio. Not many.
Timer.
Whoops. Start a timer.
Timer reset.
This week we are doing Rhein-Main, and I've got my spec buggy out here. Now I do remember this track a little bit from last year. In 2020 we had a race series, and I raced on this track, and I will show you how I'm going to do my lines. Oh, actually I have to switch something on here. I just have to go into options and control options. First of all, I need to, last time I raced I used my other setup, so I just need to switch to the Noble. And for some reason I do have to reverse the throttle on this, and you can just check that by just making sure everything works as you expect. Let's get into the game. Gonna practice on Rhein-Main.
Welcome to this track. Enjoy your racing.
All right, so I've got my Noble set up. I should have it set up now where I can, yeah, so now I've got it set up where I've got my pistol grip button is set to Marshall. So if I just pull it a little bit, if I crash, then you can just click on it, it'll Marshall me. So it just saves me from the split second of having to reach forward to keyboard. So that's slightly better for when I'm running my qualifiers, is that I don't have to take a button off anything. I can literally just press it. You can't even see what I'm doing, but there's a little button right there. Anyway, this is Rhein-Main, and this track is nice and racy, so there's a lot of high-speed corners. And with this one, with most tracks, it's about setting up your next corner. So I just want to show you the full track layout right now, and you don't want to overjump. There's some nice in-road sections. You want to tuck this in nicely. This one is the only jump on the track where you can go full throttle. On mod, you can pretty much land in the valley. I'm running a spec car right now. This is a high-speed sweeper. This one you can lose a lot of time if you go wide like that. It's nice to be able to tuck to the inside. And then there's a little ripple here right before this section. This one also is an elevated, kind of a banked corner. Now, I'm not entirely sure the quickest way to do it, but I found that it's possibly, last year I found it was possibly quicker to actually whip around the outside than to tuck on the very inside. This one is kind of a high-speed sweeper, and then that's your lap.
Lap 1,
so
83.49 seconds.
That was 83 seconds, just showing you the lay of the land. But let's go to a behind the view car so I can show you what the track actually looks like. There's not a whole lot of bumps. It's very nice, very smooth. Oh, that's actual cobblestone. I did not know that's a stone bank. This one you don't want to overjump because you're trying to tuck that inside corner best you can. Same with this one. You want to try and tuck, you want to run a line just like that through those corners. This track actually might be very good for doing behind the camera view, but I'm not going to do that because it's not real RC racing. And then there's what's going to catch you out. So you don't want to be too far to the inside here because that'll upset you. That's just something to be avoided. And then here's the little sweeper corner, up over the grass hill, down, full throttle, and across the line.
Lap
And that's a lap of Rhein-Main.
6.14
Okay,
seconds.
now let's go back to driver view position. And I'll just start clocking through some laps and see what kind of best lap times I can get. In spec, I just want to show you what kind of lines I'm doing. So from a driver stand position, we're just going to show you a full lap here. So you just want to hit that one, try and... It's self-explanatory what I'm doing there, but you saw how that was kind of a straight shot through. This one, you want to make sure you tuck in. Short jump that, as in don't over jump it into the corner too far, or else it ruins your setup for this section. And then you can go full throttle through here, let off, kind of tuck in nicely, go wide there so you avoid the bump, tuck in, sweeper, stay as close towards you as you think because it's easy to fall off outside that edge, and
Lap
there's a
1,
lap which is 37
37.28.
seconds. There's a second or two I can make up in there, but that's generally what I try and do. All right, this is a baseline practice test. I set a 4-minute qualifier, and I had a couple of bad laps there, lap 2, lap 3, but all of my other laps were in the 37, 38 second range in spec. Now, we're going to do mod next, but I'm just learning the track a little bit, getting familiarized with the track in spec, and then we'll jump over to mod, and I'll show you that next. Okay, still in spec. I just finished my second qualification attempt. I got one bad lap there, lap 6, 40 seconds, but all the rest of them were in the 37 range. So let's see where we landed. Overall, I'm going to switch over to mod next because I do enjoy mod more. I just want to see. So I'm holding 7th right now, and I will get punted down as more people race. So I got to find a couple more seconds and more consistency in spec. But let's switch over to mod, and I'll start playing mod. Okay, now I've just loaded up a mod car, and I just want to show you what that setup is. So a couple of things on this track. I do like the low downforce wing. So the rear wing is on the aerospeed low. And for a setup sheet, I just want to show you I'm still on the what we call the Matt Stacy setup, which is the rear 4,000 oil, center 9,000, front 10,000. It's a heavier weight center and front. And then here's the rest of the settings. Punch setting medium. The difference here is that we're running a drag brake. On Rhein-Main, we like a drag brake because then you can let off for the sweepers because there's a lot of sweeping corners and you don't want to hit brake, but it's nice to be able to let off so you don't push too wide. So that's the setup. Now let's go and try it. Motor I have on the 2050 kV motor for a first lap in mod. You're going to get to see this as my first attempt running a lap with mod in Rhein-Main. So you're going to see what kind of lap time I do. Also, a tip when you go to run your qualifier is come down off the driver pit area, reverse. That way you can get a normal run at the straightaway line. And this already feels so much nicer than spec. Wow. So much faster and more planted. So for this one, you don't want to go full speed because you don't want to tuck in too much there. Let's see. And this one you can go full throttle. Woo, I got a little bit whippy there. Full throttle, let off, pushed a little wide. But we'll see how my lap time is. Let off down the hill, full throttle on the straightaway, brake.
Lap 1,
35 seconds first lap. So I can tighten up a couple of those sweeping lines, and we should be able to get into the 34, 33 second range in mod. All right. Let me practice a little bit more.
Drive back to the pit lane.
All right, first practice
Your
qualifier in
result
mod.
is
7 laps in 4 minutes and 14
Oh,
seconds.
we lost all my track. First run in mod, fairly consistent runs. 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, 35, 35. I'm happy with that. So I think I'm going to just do a real qualifier and we'll see where we land. So I'm happy with that setup. It's me. You just have to drive less aggressively. So those last 2 laps was when I was being conscious about don't go too fast. Like be very aware of how much throttle you're putting in because it's easy to add a little bit too much and then push wide on all those sweeping corners. Okay, first official run with mod Buggy. First official qualifier mod
Your
Buggy.
result is
Let's see how we did.
7 laps in 4
7 laps in 4:13.8. I think that's going to put me in 7th or 6th overall first attempt. Let's see. First lap was the worst, 38.6, and then I did a 35.2 lap 6. Pretty good. 7th. So I'm landing in 7th in spec and 7th in mod in my first attempts. All right, that's Rhein-Main. I mean, I think there's not much more to say there. I've given a couple of tips that I know. I'm going to practice a little bit more throughout the week, and then we'll show you the mains next. Actually, before I go, something I always do is I show you web results of where my laps are versus top tier guys. So let me just see how far off I am off pace. And so my laps, as you saw, were around the 35-36 second times. And Kevin Tyler right now in mod is doing 33s. All 33s. Brian Nesbitt, he's doing 34s and 35s. So there's some time to make up. You just got to keep working at it. This game just takes practice. You just have to practice, practice, practice. It's just like a real track, real racing. You got to put the time in. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new on here, subscribe. If you want to talk to me, leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.